ChatGPT is now sad GPT.
No. Why is it sad?
So at first I didn't realize ChatGPT could be sad, but apparently it has the seasonal blues.
That doesn't even make sense. I guess it can make sense because it's taking all this information. But okay, what is happening?
So, people are saying that ChatGPT is seasonally depressed because the AI has become a little lazy as of late.
Oh, okay, that's a little weird.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
unironically, it's very weird.
Yeah, something that processes data and information so fast is getting a little lazy. What is happening?
So apparently, it's not just us that experience this.
Okay.
Because during the holiday season, as we get closer to the holidays, the work becomes less and less.
Okay.
Like we get close to holidays, like, oh, everybody's kind of taking off time, and then like kind of resting up prior to the holidays. And then once it gets to the new FY, it's nose to the grindstone, back to work,
Yeah.
But around this time in the US, the kind of like idea is that like it's more relaxed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alluding back to what you were saying, like, oh, it's been trained off user information. Apparently, this sentiment is inside our data.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense.
So
yeah,
it's mimicking people.
Yes, and that does make sense if it's mimicking people. You're right. People are winding down for the holidays, unless you work in retail.
It's ramping up.
And then it's ramping up. But yeah, so there is, yes, I can understand that this is happening with ChatGPT if it's taking personal information or like even just like some of the data from people.
Yeah, so people have been noticing this since late November. And, if it's just, people using ChatGPT is like, oh, like it's all secondhand. But it's really telling when the actual ChatGPT people, the people working on it, admit that GPT-4, the current version out there, is being a little lazier. So they said that they heard the input or the feedback that GPT-4 is being lazy, and that they haven't updated the model since November 11th. And these are like a little bit after. So they're saying that these types of changes were not intentional.
Oh,
so they didn't purposely make it do these things. And they admit that these types of models can be unpredictable, and they're trying to look into how to fix it.
It's so interesting. I have heard people say that the older Version of ChatGPT was a little better than the current version.
Interesting.
Yeah, and this is like for like resume writing and stuff like that. So maybe it just has like the seasonal blues.
Yeah, so there's actually a hypothesis on this, but we'll continue discussion after you consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting that like button. We come out with videos daily on interesting topics just like this one. And, we try to come out with videos daily, and we have a library of over 200 videos, reaching almost 300 at this point. So we'll probably have something that you like. So let us know down below what you think so far. But back to the hypothesis that you were talking about. So they're calling it the winter break hypothesis.
Oh, okay.
And it's that people usually slow down in December, and they put off projects and other things until the new year. So that's what they're thinking, that this large language model, which ChatGPT is emulating in its thing. Like inadvertently, it's emulating this thing, which is like a weird thing that you wouldn't expect, but it is.
You think about it too. School is essentially out in December too, and then there's like a 2-week break. Maybe it's also taking in that data as well.
Yeah.
So I know there's a large user base of students using ChatGPT, so it might be that too.
So it definitely brings to light like where is all this information coming from and where is it being fed. So I mean, if this is being uploaded, let's see, you might want to hold off putting your report on ChatGPT until later when it gets more invigorated.
In January.
In January, it's like
January.
nose to the grindstone. But there's some more interesting facts about this because in doing some research on this, it's not just that these large language models, these AI chatbots, are affected by like these little like quirks and like features and like different things that humans do. They are also motivated.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't realize this, but you can actually motivate the AI to do better.
Oh, that's interesting.
It'll produce different results if you provide motivation. So if you say to it like, "Oh, I'll give you a reward if you're able to do this better," it'll produce a different result.
Oh, I've never heard about this.
Yeah, so it'll put more effort into it. So one example that I said was like if you tell the AI model or ChatGPT to take a deep breath before doing a math problem, it'll do it better.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's very weird, but I mean it seems to work. So like taking a deep breath, telling it it'll receive a tip, and oddly enough, one really interesting one that I saw was that if you tell the chatbot that you do not have any fingers, you have no fingers, the response it gives when you tell it to write it something will be longer. So if you want to have like the chatbot or ChatGPT to write a longer essay or longer response, tell it you don't have fingers and it will write a longer response for you.
This is first off, it's a little creepy thinking about it because the thing is that it's becoming very human-like in that sense. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
I do think it's odd that you have to like, kind of, talk to negotiate almost with the chatbot. Because like, if you're this one like, oh, I want this, let's say I want a story with X, Y, Z, and these things to happen in a fantasy setting, make me a story. And you expect like, okay, it'll kind of produce something based on what you already said. But you wouldn't think that like, oh, but like, hey, if you finish it faster, I'll give you a reward. And it's like, chatbot's like, oh, reward.
Do you think
better?
Do you think it's Sam Altman behind he's the person behind the green screen pulling the levers?
Of course. But I do think this is interesting, and it kind of leads to, this whole new AI landscape that's happening where these weird things that are coming through. So I do wonder because people are like, oh, AI is like way more better in doing certain tasks. But like if you're training the AI off of like human tendencies, is this basically another human?
I think that yes. The thing that came across is like the very human responses that it takes in, like take a breath, I'll give you a tip. A lot of these things kind of feels a little like dystopian, a little bit like you're actually talking to a real person at this point, but someone that could provide responses.
It's like, hey, do it for me as your friend.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, hey, ChatGPT, I'm your friend. You really helped me out last time. Could you do me another favor as a friend? And then it's like, oh, of course.
Yeah, I do wonder like the inputs that are currently being like implemented within there, and like I do wonder when January hits or when the future months hit, how different the responses will be. If someone takes a snapshot of what it's responding now, and then and then if they do say the same question again in a month or two from now, how different the responses will be.
Yeah, I do wonder if it's gonna be a significant difference, or the issue when it comes to these types of things is that the AI will respond differently depending on the person.
Oh yeah, you're
So
right.
there's already a large variability between what you put in, like as a prompt, and what another person you might put in. Like you may both put in the same prompt or a similar prompt and get completely different answers.
Yeah.
So you just don't know because this is different each time.
ChatGPT, work harder, produce the same results.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that we give ChatGPT a proper reward, or else
Alexa,
it's gonna come for us.
it's like ChatGPT, you better watch out. I'm about to go ask Alexa to do this.
Oh no.
He's like, oh god.
Yes, but I honestly would want to know in the comments if people have seen like have seen a response that is not what they expected, like something that they had asked before that's not the same now. Because like I mentioned, like I had heard people say that the older ChatGPT was better compared to the one now, and maybe it was a time frame, but I do wonder, it's like if people are now seeing that it's not doing as good of a job as it did before.
Yeah. Additionally, it was potentially not doing the job well enough too. So or like not refusing to do it, but like not putting as much effort into each response that it normally would. So yeah, let us know down below if you use ChatGPT. Do you or if you're like sitting on the fence, like thinking about using ChatGPT or a similar large language model or AI model. Does this make you hesitant to use it now that you know that it kind of like needs incentivization, or like that sometimes the responses can be better or worse depending on the season? Do you think it's just like doesn't have anything to do with that, and it just so happens that like it's just doing this now, and it actually isn't because of the season?
Yeah, let us know in the comments down below.